Well, welcome back. Straight up, 4 o'clock for Game 2 of today's doubleheader between the Hutchinson Blue Dragons and the Cloud County Community College Thunderbirds. And we're not going to waste any time getting started with the action here of Game 2. Mike Brown on the mound for the Blue Dragons. Mike, a 6'2", redshirt freshman from Omaha, Nebraska. Starts the game off. Gets a foul ball, and this one's grounded to second. Second baseman Zion Bolin in the lineup for Hutchinson in this game. Makes the out. 4-3. So Brown off to a good start, and that's going to bring up Matt Bondarchuk for the T-Birds. Bondarchuk was 0 for 2 in Game 1. Ground out, reached on an error. Ball 1 to start off Bondarchuk. This one's fouled away to even the count. Gorgeous afternoon here at the ballpark. Mike Brown's making his 5th appearance, 3rd start, 5.06 ERA. 10 2/3 innings pitched. And Bondarchuk turns on that and sends it into right field for a base hit. So it took Cloud until the 3rd inning in Game 1 to get their first base hit. They take care of that, the second batter out of the gate in Game 2. Brings up their right fielder, Enrique Gonzalez. Gonzalez struck out looking and doubled in Game 1. Game 1 was an 11-1 Blue Dragon victory, shortened to 5 innings because of the run rule, which means Game 2 will be a 9-inning affair. Breeze has picked up a little bit, blowing across the diamond from left to right. Bondarchuk gets his lead. Swing and a miss. 0-2 the count to Gonzalez. We didn't have to spend a lot of time looking at base running statistics for the T-Birds in the first game, as the Dragons' pitching was dominant with Miguel Reyes. Allowed only 2 hits. And swing and a miss. Gonzalez goes down swinging for the second out. Bring up the designated hitter, Eric Zabrowski. Zabrowski struck out and flew out in Game 1. Brown checks the runner. Bondarchuk bluffs. Wolverton blocks it in the dirt. Nice job by Scotty. Sophomore catcher from Seward, Nebraska. Bondarchuk with 5 stolen bases on the season, yet to be caught. Gets his lead. Brown. Strike 1. Defensively for the Blue Dragons, Ryan Moritz at 3rd, Dylan Nedved at short, Zion Bolin at 2nd, Zach Baxley at 1st. Scott Wolverton behind the plate. There goes Bondarchuk. This one's low and in the dirt. Wolverton throws from the knees. Bondarchuk's got it stolen. Stolen base number 6 on the year for Bondarchuk. Wasn't much Scotty could do with that one. Great pitch for Bondarchuk to steal on. In the outfield, Divison left, Schaefer in center, Morganson in right. Freshmen around the infield. Sophomores around the outfield and behind the plate. This one's fouled off. 2-2 the count. T-Birds got a runner around to third in the first inning of game one, but he was stranded there. Have a runner at second now in the first inning of game two. Called strike three. And that's going to end the inning, much like it did game one, inning one. So no runs on one hit for the T-Birds. We go to the bottom of the first. Blue Dragons coming up. Blue Dragons coming to bat. Bottom of the first. Game two of today's doubleheader. Hutchinson took game one 11-1. Have guaranteed themselves no worse than a split of this four-game series with the Thunderbirds. Both teams split yesterday in Concordia. Skylar Proctor on the mound for the T-Birds. Proctor making his second start, fourth appearance of the year, 5.40 ERA. Starts Nedved off with a strike. This one's fouled at the plate. Quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. Dillon went 2 for 4 in game one. Single double. Fly out, reached on an error. Proctor has just 5 innings work so far this year, 5 walks, no strikeouts. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Nedved fouls it out of play to the right. This doubleheader was originally scheduled to be played tomorrow, Saturday afternoon here in Hutchinson. But there is an expected lack of cooperation from Mother Nature that necessitated moving this one up. Ball outside.
I thought you rescheduled it so I could be here.
And a wise move it was, with temperature in the low 70s, light breeze. Nedved fires this one right back up the middle for a base hit. So quickly out of the box for Hutchinson. Leadoff single. Nedved's third hit of the day. Brings up Logan Sartori. Logan played game one at second base. He's going to be the designated hitter in game two.
Sartori.
Logan went 2 for 4 with a single double, scored a couple of runs. Ball one.
He doesn't have it. He doesn't play. He has no field position. He gets to hang out.
Nedved gets his lead. This one's fouled back over the press box. Called strike 2. Proctor ahead in the count, 1-2. Proctor is 6'6", 175. Sophomore out of Topeka. Outside, 2-2. Throw to first. Nedved back safely. Again, Coach Knack pinch hitting on the PA for me today as I sit in. This is Denny Steckline sitting in for Steve Carpenter. 2-2 pitch, Sartori lines this one, well hit to center. Simons is going back, looks up, it's gone! So Logan Sartori puts the Dragons up quickly, 2-0 in this one. On a line shot that did not waste any time getting out of the ballpark. Straight away center field. Impressive in that it was into this breeze that's been blowing in and across the diamond. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Bobby Morganson. Swing and a miss by Bobby. Bobby was hitless in game one, 0 for 3. Scored a run, but failed to join the hit parade. Just upstairs. For Sartori, that was his third home run of the year. This one's fouled away, 1-2. Want to give a shout out to the Sartoris and the Baxleys. It's my understanding they're feeding the team tonight after the doubleheader. On behalf of Blue Dragon Athletics and Blue Dragon Baseball, we thank the Sartoris and the Baxleys for that support. I know Coach Schmidt appreciates that on some of these games when the cafeteria at campus usually closes at 7, I believe. And when the guys aren't sure they're going to get done by then and get back to campus, that's one less thing for him to worry about, is how they're going to get fed. Count even at 2-2. Nobody down here in the bottom of the first. Blue Dragons up 2-0. Dylan Nedved led off with a single, followed by a home run from Logan Sartori. Foul tip. Morganson stays alive. It's the third home run of the day for Hutchinson. Zach Baxley took one deep to left in game one. Ryan Steckline took one out to right in game one. Here's the 2-2. Bobby waits on it, loses his bat, but fouls it away. Coach Knack and I looking at Skylar Proctor, that 6'6", 175, what we wouldn't give to be 175. It's probably been middle school since either of us were at that number.
I wouldn't mind being 6'6" also.
Yeah, 6'6" wouldn't be bad. It'd be fun to try.
I know you have to duck under golf frames.
Ball 3 outside. Counts full.
6'2"
Bobby walked in the first inning of game one, trying to do the same here. And does. That one's in the dirt, gets to the backstop. Catcher Cade Wallace has to chase that one down to keep Bobby at first. It's going to bring up the left fielder, Wyatt Divis. Wyatt 3 for 4 in game one, scored a pair of runs, had a pair of doubles.
15, Wyatt Divis.
Morganson gets his lead. Wyatt turns on it, fouls it down the first base line. A year ago, a foul chopper like that hit near the first base coaching box likely would have been bobbled and misplayed by Coach Cervantes. Coach Cornejo shows much greater wisdom and just lets it go. 0-1 to Divis. Upstairs. Evens the count, 1-1. Inside, ball 2. Wyatt fouls this one back. Counts now 2-2. Morganson at first. Bobby leads the team in stolen bases with 6. He's a perfect 6 for 6 on the season. When you see the bus at 6'4", 225, that's not a statistic you expect to hear. Upstairs. Counts full. So 2 batters in a row now have taken it to a full count. Sartori before that went 2-2. So they're working deep against Proctor. Morganson barely gets back. Nice move by Proctor. Caught Bobby leaning a little bit. Picking on Coach Cervantes. He's now moved over to the third base coaching box. And this one, again, very close. Coach Schmidt has moved into the dugout. Oversees things from the dugout. Here's the full count pitch to Divis. Upstairs. So back-to-back walks to Morganson and Divis. The Dragons continue the threat with runners at first and second. 2 runs already in, nobody out. Bottom of the first. Brings up first baseman Zach Baxley. Zach reached on an error, hit a long home run, and flew out to right in game 1. 1 for 3 officially. Takes that one on the outside corner, strike 1. Zach started to show bunt. That's brought the corners in for Cloud. Bunt attempt there, fails to connect. 0-2 now the count. Likely taking the bunt off. Corner still playing in somewhat surprisingly with an 0-2 count. Proctor checks the runners. This one's grounded to short. Chance to turn 2, bobbled by the shortstop. Fielder's choice. They get the force out at second. Morganson moves to third. Baxley reaches on the fielder's choice. First and third now. Brings up Zion Bolin. Zion, a freshman from Lawrence. Upstairs, ball 1. Zion batting .292 on the year. Home run, 5 RBIs. Takes that one down and away. 2-0. Zion seeing his first action of the day. Here's the 2-0. Misses up. 3-0. So 3-0 the count. Runners at the corners. Takes this one. Taking all the way. Called strike. 3-1. Baxley at first. Morganson at third. That misses inside. The bases are going to be loaded. And that's going to prompt a visit to the mound. And actually a call to the bullpen. So a very quick hook. Proctor's going to get the hook after just a third of an inning. We're going to take a break. Blue Dragons leading it 2-0. Well, Cloud with the early call to the bullpen here with just one away in the bottom of the first inning. Hutchinson leading it 2-0. Daniel Bachura, 6-foot sophomore lefty from Wilsey, Kansas. This is your Kansas geography quiz of the day. Where is Wilsey, Kansas? Tweet us at Blue Dragon Sport. And don't cheat. Don't Google it and look it up. The last census, Wilsey had a population of 153. Big swing and a miss by Moritz.
Was counting him.
Might be 152 now that Daniel's at Concordia. Oh, and 1 the count to Ryan Moritz, third baseman. Bases loaded, full of Dragons. Here in the bottom of the first, off the starter Skylar Proctor, the Dragons had a single home run. And then 3 walks have loaded the bases. Sandwich around to fielder's choice to get 1 out. But they're full of Dragons with Moritz at the plate. Dragons trying to make some noise early in this one. Off-speed pitch fouled away, 1-2 the count. Moritz 0 for 2 in game 1. Struck out, grounded out, and walked. Bachura checks the runners. Here's the 1-2. Just misses. Tough take for Moritz. Outside, evens the count at 2-2. Bachura on the year, 7.36 ERA, 3 2/3 innings. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. 2-2 pitch is low. There's nowhere to put him. Count is full. Bases are loaded. Dragons leading it 2-0. Bottom of the first, game 2 of today's doubleheader. Bachura comes set and delivers. Fouled away. Nice job by Moritz to stay alive. Here's the payoff. And he walks him. That one didn't miss by much. But the fourth walk of the inning is going to bring home the third Blue Dragon run of the inning.
Hitting for the Blue Dragons, the catcher, number 32, Scott Wolverton.
That's going to bring up the catcher for the Blue Dragons, Scott Wolverton, sophomore from Seward, Nebraska. And Scotty reaches out, lifts this one to left center. Simons comes running across, makes the catch, but it's going to get the run home. So a nice job by Scotty. Brings home Baxley. So 2 outs now for the Blue Dragons here in the bottom of the first.
Number 24, Brock.
Dragons leading it 4-0. 4 runs on just 2 hits, but 4 costly errors walks. And Brock Schaefer, the ninth batter of the inning, takes that one outside. Dragons sent 9 to the plate in the bottom of the first of Game 1. They won Game 1 11-1. Coach Schmidt's got to like what he's seen with the offense. Game 2 yesterday, Game 1 today. Called strike, not to mention the pitching, giving up just 1 today. And while they gave up 6 in Game 2 yesterday, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I know several of those were unearned. So the pitchers doing their part. Ball 2 to Schaefer. Two and 1 the count. 2 outs. Runners at first and second after the Wolverton sacrifice fly. Inside. Schaefer was trying to wear that one. He didn't want to make it look too obvious to the umpire, but if he weighed more than $190, I think he would have reached the Blue Dragon way. Couldn't quite get in the way of that one. 3-1, called strike 2. So a full count to Schaefer. 2 outs, runners at first and second. They'll be off on the pitch. Bolin at second, Moritz at first. The runners take off. Here's the 3-2. Schaefer grounds this one to second. Aller-Helligan makes the play, gets it across to Krolikowski. That's going to end the inning. But the Dragons, 4 runs on just 2 hits, take advantage of the 4 walks. And after 1 complete, lead Cloud 4-0. Mike Brown back on the mound for Hutchinson. Top of the second.
Inning, leading off for Cloud, the catcher, number 9, Cade Wallace.
Cloud's catcher Cade Wallace to lead things off. Here in the top of the second. First pitch swinging, sends a slow tapper back to Brown. Runs it halfway over, flips it to Baxley. So very quickly, one away in the top of the second. Didn't even have time to tell you, Wallace, 5'10 freshman out of Clay Center.
Number 20, Torrin Langley.
Torrin Langley to the plate, third baseman for the Thunderbirds. His brother Cooper was a Blue Dragon not too many years ago. Langley takes a strike. Lifts this one into shallow left. Nedved backpedals, makes the catch. So very quickly, two away here in the top of the second. It's going to bring up the first baseman, Ryan Krolikowski.
First baseman, number 36, Ryan Krolikowski.
Krolikowski walked, grounded out to first in game one. First pitch from Brown misses. Two and 0 the count now to Krolikowski. Called strike. I know I've said it several times today, but this is just about a picture-perfect day. The flag's now hanging in center. Had second thoughts, but it was too late. Goes around 2-2 now the count. Nice crowd, keeps milling around, and a few people showing up here at Hobart-Detter. This one's popped up behind the plate. Wolverton's giving it a look. Just runs out of real estate. That one lands on the roof and makes its way back down to the playing field. So the count remains 2-2. Two down, nobody on. Top of the second. And that one hits Krolikowski. Nope. He's not going to let him go. Umpire wasted no time making that call. Krolikowski's a big target at 6'2", 235, but had a little bit of a lean into that one. So, ball three now, full count. And pops this one up again. Baxley and Wolverton giving it a look. Wolverton can't quite grab it. That's an easier play for your first baseman coming in. He's just got a better visual on that than what your catcher does trying to look up behind him. But nonetheless, count remains full. And the payoff pitch. Line to left field for a base hit. And it gets through Divis. Krolikowski's going to make the turn and get to second. So we're going to have a single and an error. Is going to get Krolikowski into scoring position now with two away. That was hard hit, and I think Divis just maybe picked his eyes up and took his eyes off the ball a little bit too soon, and it
Shortstop, number 11,
bounced right through the wickets. Got past him. Brings up the shortstop, Aiden Huggins. Fouls this one away. Huggins 0 for 2 in game one. Popped out to second, grounded out to second. Redshirt freshman from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Tried to check his swing. Failed to do so. 0-2 now the count. Umpire was getting some feedback from the Cloud dugout. They were not in agreement with his call. Now has issued an official warning to the dugout. I can tell you from the press box perspective right up here, we've got a great view of home plate. No question that was a swing. The 0-2 pitch from Brown. This is going to be lined into right center field. Schaefer on his horse. He's not going to get there. That's going to bring Krolikowski home. Huggins is going to round second, try for third, and he's going to reach. So with 2 outs, the T-Birds making a little bit of noise here in the top of the second.
Into the inning if we would have caught that foul ball. Second baseman, Preston Allerhelligan.
So the Dragons could have gotten out of the inning on the foul pop, but failing to do so allows Cloud to get a runaround. So now a runner at third with 2 away. And they're going to get another run as Preston Allerhelligan lines a sharp single into left. So both runs so far this inning will be unearned. And that's going to get back to the top of the order for the center fielder, Ryan Simons. So Cloud battled back here, cut the Blue Dragon lead in half. 4-2 Hutchinson, top of the second. This one's fouled straight back. 0-1. Simons grounded out to second to start the game. Allerhelligan at first. This one's outside. Allerhelligan steals second. No stolen base on that one for Allerhelligan. Pitch was in the dirt. He didn't make his break until it was in the dirt. So he moves up on the wild pitch. Simons lifts this one to right. Morganson with a beat on it and makes the catch to end the inning. So 2 runs for the T-Birds. They've cut the Dragon lead. It's 4-2 Hutchinson as we head to the bottom of the second.
Dylan Nedved.
Top of the order for the Blue Dragons here in the bottom of the second. Sent 9 to the plate in the first. Dylan Nedved, shortstop. Singled and scored in the first, one of 4 Blue Dragon runs. Hutchinson leading at 4-2. Facing Daniel Bachura. Lefty for the T-Birds came on in relief after just a third of an inning in the bottom of the first. There's one hit deep short. Nedved, nice play by Huggins. So one away.
Designated hitter, Logan Sartori.
Logan Sartori. Logan with a line shot home run to straightaway center field in the bottom of the first. Turns on this one, fouls it at the Blue Dragon dugout. Body scatter. This one way outside. Reaches the backstop. Evens the count at 1-1. Here's Sartori, one hit deep in the hole. That's going to be a base hit. Huggins couldn't quite get to that one. Now the throw gets through, but backed up by Krolikowski. It's going to bring up Bobby Morganson. Now Sartori 2 for 2. One away.
Right fielder, Bobby Morganson.
Bobby walked and scored in the first. Sartori gets his lead. This one's in the dirt. Nice stop by Wallace. Logan's going to have to pay a little more attention at first with a lefty on the mound. He's got a good lead. There's a delivery. Off speed upstairs. 2-0. Lefty-lefty matchup. Bachura and Morganson. This one's high and away. 3-0. Starting to look at the shadows. We're getting to that point. Anybody who's played first base at Hobart-Detter Field knows what I'm talking about. And especially when you've got a left-handed pitcher, it's extremely tough. And Morganson walks on 4 straight for the second time in this game. It's extremely tough on a first baseman because you're looking towards the pitcher, but right past the pitcher, you're looking at the setting sun. And you can see it on balls that are thrown from the pitcher or from the third baseman. There have been times where the first baseman just covers himself and because he completely loses it. It's going to bring up Wyatt Divis. Divis walked, one of 4 Blue Dragons to walk in the bottom of the first. Runners at first and second with 1 away. Swing and a miss. Dragons trying to get back the 2 that the T-Birds got in the top of this inning. Divis tends to live in left field and go in the opposite way, but called strike 2. Center fielder's actually playing him more towards right center. Fairly straight up and left and right. Sartori at second, Morganson at first. 0-2 to Divis. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, low and away. Nice job by Wallace to keep that in front. Keep the runners where they're at. One and two the count. Davis grounds this one sharply to second. Aller-Helligan, throw low, but they get him. So they turn the double play to end the threat. After two, Hutchinson 4, Cloud 2.
Bondarchuk.
Top of the third inning. Matt Bondarchuk to lead things off for Cloud. Singled and stole second in the first. Was stranded there. Ahead in the count 2-0. Facing Mike Brown. And Bondarchuk sends this one right back up the middle for his second hit of the day. Excuse me, of this game. Dragons leading at 4-2. 4 runs, 3 hits. Have committed 2 errors. Those 2 errors contributed directly to Cloud's 2 runs that they've scored on 5 hits. Brings up Enrique Gonzalez. Gonzalez went down swinging in the first. Tries to check his swing. This one's in the dirt. Wolverton throws it down, and they cut down Bondarchuk, trying to advance. So Bondarchuk tried to take second on the pitch in the dirt. Wolverton did a great job of blocking it, grabbing it, and getting a throw down. Well, Gonzalez may have thought he called time, but time was not acknowledged because he stepped away. Brown delivers one right down the middle and gets called for strike 1. So it's 1-1 now. That one low and in the dirt, 2-1. Gonzalez from Venezuela, 5'11", sophomore. Big swing, big miss. 2-2. This one outside, counts now full. Here's a high chopper. Hit the Bolin at second, waits for it, makes the throw to Baxley, and there's 2 away. Cloud did their damage in the last inning with 2 outs. See if the Dragons can get away from this one. Eric Zabrowski, the designated hitter.
Eric Zabrowski.
Zabrowski struck out looking to end the first. Off-speed pitch from Brown, strike 1. And this one hits him. It's going to put Zabrowski on first now. When you've got 2 outs and you're ahead in the count, 0-1, that's not what you want to see. So Zabrowski at first.
Number 9.
The winning pitcher in Game 1 yesterday up at Concordia. Brings up the catcher, Cade Wallace. Wallace grounded out to Brown in his first at bat. Takes strike 1. Zabrowski, not much of a lead off first. Wallace lines this one sharply to center. Schaefer takes about 2 steps to his left and grabs it. So Brown works around the hit batsman. Nothing doing for Cloud in the third. Hutchinson leading it 4-2. Blue Dragon first baseman Zach Baxley leading off the bottom of the third for Hutchinson, facing Daniel Bachara, the lefty for Cloud. Bax reached on a fielder's choice in the bottom of the first, came around to score. Quickly ahead in the count, 2-0. Reaches out, lifts this one into shallow right. Gonzalez running towards the line. Makes the catch just in fair territory for the first out of the inning. Bachara now has worked 2 complete innings coming into today. Had 3 2/3 on the season.
Second baseman,
So he's
6,
nearly doubled his output. Zion Bolin, second baseman. Walked in the first. This one way outside. 1-0. And Bolin grounds this one sharply to short. Huggins fires it across. 2 away. going to bring up Ryan Moritz. Moritz as well walked in the first.
Third baseman, Ryan Moritz.
Blue Dragons with 4 runs on 3 hits, but have also had 4 batters walk. Moritz takes this one just inside. Not going to say the game's been moving at a quicker pace because I'm going to jinx it. So just pretend I didn't mention that. Big swing by Ryan. 1-1 now the count. Great to see a lot of youngsters at the ballpark playing in the area. A few baseballs being thrown. Soccer ball being kicked around. It's a baseball field. Somebody needs to confiscate that soccer ball, though. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fouled. Into the Cloud dugout. Evens the count at 2-2. This one's in the dirt. Moritz worked a full count in the first. Got a walk out of it. He's got a full count here in the third. Blue Dragons looking for a base runner. 2 away. He lifts this one. Pretty well hit the left. Bondarchuk's going to run towards the foul line and grab it. So 3 up, 3 down for Hutchinson here in the bottom of the third. We head to the fourth. Blue Dragons leading the T-Birds 4-2.
Hutchinson leads Cloud.
Well, top of the fourth starts with a Mike Brown fastball inside to Torrin Langley. It's a good thing he had that protective covering on his left elbow because that's what it found. So the second hit batsman of the game puts a runner at first here in the top of the fourth. We are a third of the way through. This will be a 9-inning game. Game 1 was shortened to 5 with a run rule victory for the Blue Dragons. So we know we're going 9. Strike 1 to Krolikowski. Although Coach Knack, in his infinite wisdom, points out it could be another run rule, which we'd be okay with as long as it was in the favor of the good guys. This one's fouled. Down the third baseline. Counts 0-2. Activity in the Blue Dragon bullpen.
He's been over there a couple innings.
Ryan Summers getting loose. 6'6", 180 freshman. This one again fouled down the third base line. Not by much. Moritz made a dive for it, just out of reach. Count remains 0-2. Langley back at first. Here's the 0-2. This one's lifted foul towards the Cloud dugout. Baxley gives it a look. Out of play. Langley, one of 6 Canadians on the Cloud roster.
Didn't know Cloud was that far north of Hutchinson.
We knew it was north of Hutchinson, but didn't realize it was that far north. I'm stealing that line from Coach Knack. Goes along with a Venezuelan, couple of Venezuelans. This one just misses low and inside. 1-2 the count. Blue Dragons also have a little bit of international flavor. A couple from the Netherlands, Julian Rip and Timo van Lingen. Just off the inside corner. Counts even at 2-2. Langley at first, Krolikowski at the plate. Reaching, fouls this one out to the right side. Krolikowski's the one that got things started in the last inning. In the second inning for the Thunderbirds with 2 outs. Singled the left, moved up to second on an error. And the 2-2. Lines this one to left again. Divis comes on, has a beat on it, makes the catch. So he hit it well, but allowed out. We'll bring up the shortstop, Aiden Huggins.
Shortstop, number 11, Aiden Huggins.
Huggins made a couple of nice plays in the field. One away. Brown fires it over. Langley back safely. Pitch upstairs to Huggins. 1-0. Bounces this one up. Wolverton, nice job keeping it in front of him. Keeping Langley at bay. Blue Dragons return to action Wednesday here at Hobart-Detter Field. 3 o'clock game taking on North Iowa Area Community College. Big swing and a miss from Huggins. 2-1 the count. Huggins lifts this one. Shallow right field, Bolin back, and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Langley retreats back to first. That'll bring up Preston Aller-Helligan. Lined a single to left in his first at bat. Aller-Helligan, prior to that at bat, came in batting .273. No home runs, 4 RBIs. He jumped on that pitch so quickly last time we didn't have time to tell you that. Drops a bunt. It's a nice one, too. Brown backhands it. Can't get it out of his glove cleanly.
I'd call it a hit.
That'll be a base hit for Allahelligan. His second of the day. Well-placed bunt. Not sure Brown gets him even if he fields it cleanly.
Top of the cloud.
So T-Birds at first and second now with 2 away.
Simons.
Here in the top of the fourth. Brings up center fielder Ryan Simons. Simons 0 for 2. Grounded out to second. Flew out to right. Blue Dragons softball made the road trip to Garden City. Took game 1 of their doubleheader 5-0 over the Broncbusters. Strike called. And softball is up to a 1-0 lead in game 2 of their doubleheader. Make that road trip a lot more pleasant coming home if they could get a sweep. Off-speed pitch upstairs. 2-1 now the count. Langley off second. Allahelligan off first. This one's straight back. Off the press box. And about 3/4 of the way down to first base.
Send him a bill.
So the count's even now at 2-2. 2 runners on, 2 away. Brown comes set, takes a peek at Langley, and delivers. Fouled away. Fouled to the Blue Dragon dugout.
Just over the top of the net.
Yeah. It looks like a hit right there.
Here's the pitch. Lifted foul. Baxley's not gonna have room for that one. So Simon stays alive. What was a gorgeous afternoon has turned into a beautiful evening. Still plenty of time to come on out to the ballpark. And Simons reaches and lines this one up the middle. That's going to get a run home. Schaefer's throw comes into third. And Cloud has cut the lead to 4-3. Langley scores on the Simons single. And again, the damage being done with 2 outs. All 3 T-Bird runs today have been scored with 2 outs.
Left fielder, Matt Bonderchuk.
That's going to prompt a visit to the mound from head coach Ryan Schmidt. We're going to take a break and be right back with you in just a moment. Well, Blue Dragons make a call to the bullpen, bringing in Ryan Summers to face Matt Bondarchuk here in the top of the fourth. Blue Dragons leading at 4-3. And the first one is in the dirt and is going to allow both runners to move up. So the Blue Dragons leading at 4-3. T-Birds now with runners at second and third, 2 away. Summers looks into Wolverton for the sign. Inside. 2-0 now. Upstairs, 3-0.
Not much drag in the chat. Cloud dugout came to life.
These games originally scheduled for tomorrow. Threat of inclement weather prompted the move to move them up to today. That one didn't miss by much, but it's a walk for Bondarchuk to load the bases now
Enrique Iglesias.
for Enrique Gonzalez, the right fielder.
Right fielder number 27, Enrique Gonzalez.
Called strike one to Gonzalez. Enrique does not agree with that call. Been more than one call today he hasn't agreed with. Takes a little bit of a walk.
Can't tell.
Bases loaded. 2 away. And he hits him. So that's going to tie it up. Not what Coach Schmidt had in mind when you make a call to the pen. So the bases are going to remain loaded. Scott Wolverton's going to take a little trip. Try to calm Summers down. And Matt Hopkins gets to the Blue Dragon bullpen in a hurry and is going to start getting loose.
Number 23, Eric Zabrowski.
Brings up Eric Zabrowski. Struck out looking. Was hit in the third. This one in the dirt. Good pitch. Catches the outside corner. Evens the count at 1-1. Zabrowski appeared to be taking, which with the control issues Summers has shown in the first 2 batters, you can't blame him. Here's the 1-1. Off speed. Called strike 2. Nice job by Summers rebounding. Now ahead in the count. Bases full of T-Birds. Game's tied 4-4, top of the fourth. That one's in the dirt. Nice job by Wolverton. Keeps it from getting too far away. Simons gave it a look coming down from third, but that would not have played out in his favor had he given it a shot. Here's the 2-2. Outside. So a full count with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Big pitch coming up here for Summers. Runners are going to be in motion. Cloud dugout has come to life. The 3-2. Way outside, ball 4. And Cloud's going to take their first lead of the day. at 5-4. It's going to bring up their ninth batter of the inning, and Cade Wallace, the catcher.
Yeah, we're trying to stall.
It's going to prompt a visit to the mound, too, from Zach Baxley. Probably trying to milk a little time out of this one
Number 9, catcher, Cade Wallace.
to give Hopkins a chance to get warm.
Yep, here he comes.
And now Coach Schmidt's going to take a slow walk to the mound. Let's take a break. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Pitching for the Blue Dragons.
So Matt Hopkins, 5'10" 170-pound freshman from Kingfisher, Oklahoma, making his 6th appearance, 5th in relief for the Blue Dragons this season. Inherits a situation with the bases loaded, 2 away, top of the 4th. First pitch, fouled down the right field line. Facing Cade Wallace, T-Bird catcher. T-Birds have scored 3 this inning to turn a 4-2 deficit into a 5-4 lead. Threatening to do more damage. It's Hopkins' job to try to keep them from doing that. Strike 2. Fouled away. Counts now 0-2 to Cade Wallace. Wallace, ground out, fly out in his 2 previous appearances. And a called strike 3. Great pitch from Matt Hopkins. Cade Wallace does not agree. But there's only one opinion that matters in that situation. So Hopkins does his job.
Top of the 4th inning.
After 3.5, the T-Birds lead the Blue Dragons 5-4.
Cloud lead.
Scott Wolverton to lead things off for the Blue Dragons in the bottom of the fourth. Swing and a miss. 0-1 the count. Scott flew out to left in the first. Dragons now trailing at 5-4, behind for the first time today, after winning game 1 11-1 in a run rule shortened 5-inning affair. And had a 4-2 lead after 3, but the T-Birds got 3. All 5 T-Bird runs today have come with 2 outs. It's not a statistic that will make Coach Schmidt happy. 1-1 the count to Scotty. Down low.
The run they scored in the first game was with 2 outs, too.
And Coach Knack astutely points out the run they had in game 1 was with 2 outs. Three and 1 now to Wolverton. Trying to get something started. Give the Blue Dragons a chance to get those runs back. Brock Schaefer on deck. And the 3-1. That's inside. So Scotty with a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the fourth.
Center fielder, number 24, Brock Schaefer.
Action in the T-Bird bullpen. It's like a sidewinder. Can't get a read on the number, but dropping down. Bachura's about at the point where he's thrown as many innings today as he had coming in on the season. This one. Fouled off. Bunt attempt by Brock. Squares again, takes this one high and away. Brock's got good speed, so if he can get one down in the right spot, there's a chance he could not be bunting for only a sacrifice, but also possibly bunting for a base hit. There goes Wolverton. He's going to beat it. Stolen base. Good throw by Wallace, but it was a little bit of a short hop that pulled Huggins' glove up, and he had to pull it back down then to try to put the tag on, and that gave Wolverton just enough time to get underneath the throw.
It's number 14 warming up for Cloud.
2-1 now the count to Schaefer. Let's see if the bunt's still on. They're in at the corners. Cloud is expecting it. He does square right back at the pitcher. That's probably too hard of a bunt. And they're able to get Wolverton and cut him at third. So it was bunted pretty hard, and it was bunted right back at the pitcher. So the fielder's choice cuts down Wolverton at third. Gets us to the top of the order with Dylan Nedved.
Stop number 9, Dylan Nedved.
Nedved with a single in the first, grounded out to short in the second. Jacob Ewing getting loose in the T-Bird bullpen. Low and away in the dirt. Ball 1 to Dylan. Schaefer. That's a balk. That's a balk. Bachura stepped off and faked the throw to first. Well, didn't he? He made his move to first. Went through with the rotation of the arm as if he was throwing it, and that's a no-no. You can't do that to first base. So Schaefer moves up to second. Umpire was about the last one in the ballpark to call it. I think it was that obvious to him. Nedved fouls this one out to the right Out of play. 1-1. You heard it up here in the press box. You could hear it from the Blue Dragon dugout, from the party deck. And then things connected for the umpire. 1-1 the count. This one, again, lifted to the right side, just out of the reach of Krolikowski. 1-2 now the count to Dillon. Logan Sartori on deck. Sartori has a homer and a single in this game. Five-4 T-Birds. Ball inside. Evens the count at 2-2. Still a beautiful 70 degrees here at the ballpark. No admission to come in and see the Blue Dragons play, so if you're out for an evening drive, just finished supper, come on down, check out the end of the ball game. Outside, ball 3. Full count now to Nedved. Schaefer gets his lead off second. One away. There's a sharp grounder hit to short. Huggins fields it, fires across. Schaefer has to stay at home at second. So 2 away now for Sartori. Logan with a home run in the first, single in the second.
Designated hitter, Logan Sartori.
The usual second baseman for Hutchinson, filling the role of designated hitter in this one. Bachura checks the runner, checks him again. Outside. Press box at Hobart-Detter Field probably affords you the best seats in just about any ballpark. Got a great perspective on inside, outside on pitches. Not as great on high-low. One and one the count. This one's grounded sharply to Langley at third. And he makes the play. So the Dragons can't get anything across in the fourth. And after 4, 5-4 T-Birds. So Torrin Langley made the nice snag to end the bottom of the fourth. Will lead off the top of the fifth for Cloud. Quickly down on the count, 0-2. Hopkins not wasting any time. Matt came in with 2 away and the bases loaded in the top of the fourth. Needed only 3 pitches to end the threat. And has come out firing here in the top of the fifth. Ahead of the count, 0-2. And Langley swing and a miss. And fell, so Wolverton just applies the tag on the ball in the dirt. And that's going to take care of the first out of the inning. So good start to the fifth.
First baseman.
It's going to bring up the first baseman, Ryan Krolikowski. Krolikowski singled in the second. Lined out to left in the fourth. Fouls this one off. And fouls this back. Over the press box. 0-2 now the count. Got a few jackets starting to make their way. That one's low and a ball. Well, it took 10 pitches, but Hopkins threw his first ball. So 9 straight strikes to start. And right back into the strike zone as Krolikowski fouls that one away. 1-2, 1 away, top of the fifth. This one's scheduled for 9. This one's grounded in the hole to short. Nedved snags it, fires it across. Nice job. 2 away. So 2 down now for Aiden Huggins, the shortstop. Huggins tripled and scored in the second.
Aiden Huggins.
Popped out the second in the fourth. Time called. Hopkins, excuse me, was in the midst of his delivery. You hate to see that for an umpire to grant time. It's totally up to the umpire to grant it. You hate to see that once a pitcher started his delivery that they do. Pitch inside. Huggins lifts this one to left. Divis back. It's over his head and off the fence. Huggins going to pull into second with a double. So 2 outs and a double for Aiden Huggins. Brings up Preston Aller-Helligan. 2 for 2, pair of singles.
Aller-Helligan.
One a liner to left, the other a bunt single. Hopkins checks Huggins. Blows that one past Aller-Helligan. Ahead in the count, 0-1. This one misses upstairs. Evens the count, 1-1. Two down here, top of the fifth. 5-4, Cloud. Foul tip. 1-2. Hopkins checks the runner. The 1-2. Off speed has him reaching. This popped up on the infield. Moritz runs in almost to the plate, makes the catch to end the threat. So Hopkins works out of that one. After 4.5, 5-4 Cloud. Bobby the Bus Morganson to lead things off for the Blue Dragons here in the bottom of the 5th.
Bobby Morganson.
6'4", 225, sophomore from Omaha. Pachura back out for Cloud here in the bottom of the 5th. He came on with only one out in the first. This is outside, 1-1. Bobby officially does not have an at-bat in this game. He's walked in both appearances. Swings, fouls this one down the first base side. Bobby down to the count 1-2. Takes that low and away. Evens the count. Here's the 2-2. Bobby fouls that one out of play to the left. Blue Dragons softball, game 2 of their doubleheader. They took game 1. They lead game 2, 7-0, bottom of the 4th. That one's in the dirt. Can Bobby walk for the 3rd time today? While there may not be an official at bat, if he does, it'd be a perfect on-base percentage. That did not miss by much, but Bobby makes his way to first. Cade Wallace even gave the umpire a little bit of an extra look. And I'm looking at Coach Knack. I'm not sure there could have been a lot of argument if he'd rung that one up even from the perspective up here.
Left fielder, number 15, Wyatt Divis.
Brings up the left fielder, Wyatt Divis. Wyatt walked, grounded into a double play. This one's way outside. Nice job by Wallace to short hop that and keep Morganson at first base. Fouled away by Divis. Counts 1-1. Shadow's getting long. Zach Baxley on deck for the Blue Dragons. Torin Langley in even with the bag. Jorgensen back, standing up. Divis not known as much of a bunter.
We should steal it because he doesn't really want to make a move to first.
1-1 the count. Throw to first. This is one of those treacherous times I talked about earlier. Those shadows are long, and there is almost a perfect line from the pitching mound to the first baseman. And when that ball's coming over, Krolikowski's got much more on his mind with the sun right behind his pitcher. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Had Divis fooled. Counts now 1-2. Div had a great first game at the plate. He's due to connect with one here in the second. Yet to get one out of the infield in game 2. Throw to first. Bobby back easily. Cloud leading at 5-4 here in the bottom of the 5th. High and away. Counts even. T-Birds have 5 runs on 8 hits. Took advantage of 2 Dragonaires to score their first 2 runs. Dragons have 4 runs on just 3 hits. Bobby had a good read on that. He was halfway back to first before Bature even got it out of his hand. Back standing up again. Dragons just 3 hits, but control issues have plagued the Cloud pitchers. Divis takes time. Batura looking home, looking to first, looking home, looking to first. Looking a little uncomfortable on the mound. Activity in the bullpen has stopped. They're watching the action on the field. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss from Divis. Big strikeout. So 1 away now. Brings up Zach Baxley. Bax reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the first. Flew out to right in the third. Zach with a big fly in game 1. Be a good time to connect. Hit one hard. And he was thinking about that with that swing. Down in the count 0-1. This one way outside. Evens the count 1-1. Got a little tickle in my throat there. Coach Knack and I were eating peanut M&Ms between innings. Got to be careful about that when you're on the mic.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. That's right. Ball in the dirt, 2-1. You put us up here. Press box looks like aisle 4 at Dillon's with chips, cheese, salsa, peanut M&Ms, chocolate chip cookies. Brought some grapes just to make us feel healthy. Here's the 2-1. Low, 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 away. Bobby Morganson at first. Dragons trailing at 5-4. Here's the pitch. Catches the inside corner. Full count. You got to wonder if Bobby won't be moving here. 1 away. Perfect on the year in stolen bases. Here's the 3-2. That's in the dirt. Bobby makes his way to second. Second walk of the inning. Brings up second baseman Zion Bolin. Walked in the first. Grounded out to short in the third.
Second baseman, Zion Bolin.
That's the 8th walk by Thunderbird pitchers today in Game 2, which is how the Blue Dragons can score 4 runs on just 3 hits. First pitch in the dirt. Wallace doing a nice job behind the plate. He's had to work hard. Krolikowski ahead of the bag at first. Inside corner. 1-1 the count. Bolin, the freshman from Lawrence. Lifts this one high and foul and out of play to the right. Counts now 1-2. Morganson at second. Baxley at first. 1 away. Bottom of the 5th. Zion Bolin at the plate. Here's the pitch. Foul tip. Stays alive. Ryan Moritz on deck for the Blue Dragons. This one's lined to right. Gonzalez can't play it. It gets by him. It's going to roll all the way to the fence. Morganson scores. Baxley scores. Bolin to third for a triple. And the Dragons take advantage of the 2 walks to bring home 2 and take a 6-5 lead. Gonzalez charged it hard, went into a slide to try to make the catch. Could not keep the ball in front of him. And with him on the ground, the ball skipped by him and rolled all the way to the fence. Brings up Ryan Moritz. Dragons now take the lead back. First pitch, high and away for a ball. I was watching the guys cross the plate. I should have been watching Zion because I bet he wanted to see a green light from Coach Cervantes. Moritz grounds this one down the first base line. Fair ball. That's going to bring home Bolin. So the ground out adds another run for the Blue Dragons. Moritz gets the job done.
Blue Dragon catcher, number 32.
Brings up Scott Wolverton. You know, in hindsight on that Bolin play, the throw to the plate, short hop the catcher, went high, got away from him, so we'll have to tell Coach Cervantes that he stole an inside the park home run from Zion, because that's what it would have been.
Home runs are rally killers.
0-1 the count to Scott Wolverton. You know, looking at the first base umpire, that sun, he's shielding his eyes. So it's at that point of the evening where it's wreaking some havoc. And I have two sons who have both played first base in this ballpark and can tell you how treacherous it can be. Way outside, 2-1. Coach Knack's son, Luke, played for Hutchinson High School, Hutchinson Community College. He was a Blue Dragon and then a Gorilla. Is that not correct?
Right. Shortstop, and then he moved to third base.
Went to Pittsburgh State. Just missed that one. Scotty fouled it straight back into the netting. 2-2 the count. So 3 runs here for Hutchinson in the bottom of the 5th. They've reclaimed the lead. 7 runs on 4 hits. And have taken advantage of 8 walks. That one hits Scotty. So he proudly reaches the Blue Dragon way. And that's going to prompt a call to the pen. Coach Gilliland doesn't even get to the stripes before he gives the signal. We're going to take a break while they make a pitching change. Hutchinson leading at 7-5.
Schaefer.
Jacob Ewing in to pitch now for the T-Birds. Ewing, a 5'11 sophomore from Elkhorn, Nebraska. His first move is to first. Keep an eye on Scotty Wolverton. Called strike 1 to Schaefer. Brock with a ground out, reached on a fielder's choice. Ewing making just his second appearance, has 2/3 of an inning of work on the season. Yet to give up a hit or a run. Does have a wild pitch. Really drops down and comes from the side. Outside, 1-1. Another toss to first. Wolverton back easily. This one short hops. Again, another nice job by Wallace to keep that in front of him and keep Wolverton at first. Brock stood in there just begging for it to hit him, but it avoided him. 2-1 now the count, 2 away. Down low, 3-1. Bottom of the 5th, 7-5, Blue Dragons. Another throw to first. Scotty back easily. Three-one. Schaaf lifts this one to left. Hits it well. But right at Bondarchuk, who makes the catch to end the inning. But the Dragons get 3, and after 5, lead it 7-5.
Number 12, Ryan Simons.
Top of the order to lead things off for the Thunderbirds here in the 6th. Center fielder Ryan Simons. Simons 1 for 3, singled in the 4th. Two and 0 the count. Matt Hopkins back on the mound again for the Blue Dragons. Matt came in the top of the 4th. Got the Dragons out of a delicate situation with the bases loaded. They'd already given up 3 that inning. Came in and on 3 pitches. Took care of the inning with a strikeout. Kept the T-Birds off the board in the top of the 5th. Three and 1 the count. This one's foul. Simons tried to bunt his way. That one, he bunted it, came up and hit him. Probably one of the toughest calls in the game would be for an umpire to say whether he was in fair territory when it came up and hit him, so you rarely, if ever, see that called. Full count now. 3-2 pitch. This one's chopped towards third. Moritz. Great play. Oh, it got away. Boy, I was just going to say great play by Moritz. He charged it, threw it. It's going to be an error on the first baseman, Zach Baxley. The consensus in the press box.
It was a tough play for third base. Sun might have got him at first.
Was that it caught the glove, but he wasn't able to squeeze it and hold it. Hopkins makes the throw to first. Brings up Matt Bondarchuk, the left fielder. Bondarchuk 2 for 2, a pair of singles. A walk. Stole a base. Hopkins keeping a close eye on Simons. Catches the outside corner. Four hours of baseball in the books here at Hobart-Detter Field. On what's been a beautiful day. Hopkins checking Simons, brings it home. It's in the dirt. Simons is going to move up. So the wild pitch moves him up 90 feet. Wolverton wasn't able to corral that one. Kicked off to the left just far enough that Simons could easily beat the throw. This one's bunted, and it's bunted in the air. Hopkins makes the catch, and Simons has to retreat. So a break for the Blue Dragons there. Bondarchuk fails to get it on the ground. He's trying to drag his way, probably trying to drag bunt for a base hit by the looks of it.
Right fielder, Enrique Gonzalez.
That brings up right fielder Enrique Gonzalez. Tough play for Enrique in the last inning on that sinking liner that he was just short on. Got by him for a Zion Bolin triple. Another one in the dirt. Nice job by Scott. Keep it in front. 1-0 the count. Somebody's starting to get loose in the Blue Dragon bullpen, but I can't tell you who it is. He's got a pullover on at the moment, so we'll have to wait till that comes off to give you more details. This one catches the outside corner. Evens the count at 1-1. Simons gets the lead off second. It's a short nubber towards third. Hopkins. Nice job. Bounces off the mound. Fires it over to Baxley. Simons moves up to third, but two away now in the top of the sixth. It's going to bring up the designated hitter, Eric Sabrowski. Sabrowski struck out looking. Got hit by a pitch and walked. 0 for 1 officially. Swing and a miss.
I always like to do it before it gets dark. Otherwise, it's distracting when we turn it on.
It was just about time to anyway.
0-1 the count. Simons inching his way down from third. This one's in the dirt. Blocked by Wolverton. When a catcher sees a runner at third, does balls in the dirt become even more vital and more critical to keep him in front and protect that run. This one's fouled away. Big swing from Sabrowski. Counts now 1-2. Dragons leading at 7-5, top of the sixth. And it gets through the legs of Wolverton back to the screen. It's going to be a wild pitch and bring home Simons. So the lead's now 7-6. And another run scores with 2 outs. 6 runs in this game, 1 run in the first game, scored by the T-Birds, all with 2 outs. This one's lifted to right. Morganson runs it down, and that'll end the inning. But the T-Birds get 1 across, reaching on the air. And after 5.5, Hutchinson leads at 7-6.
Blue Dragons, number 9, Dylan Nedved.
Top of the order for the Blue Dragons here in the bottom of the 6th, facing Jacob Ewing. The right-hander for the T-Birds starts Dylan Nedved off with a strike. Probably confused Dylan there. He's dropped down sidearm to everybody and kind of came over the top that time. Back around the side, Dylan lifts that one down the right field line. Falls foul. So 0-2 now the count. Dylan with a single and a pair of groundouts here in game 2 of the doubleheader. Takes this one low and away. Ball 1. Six runs, 8 hits for the T-Birds. 7 runs, 4 hits for the Blue Dragons. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for the first out of the inning. Blue Dragons have committed 3 errors, which has kind of been their Achilles at different times. It's going to bring up designated hitter Logan Sartori. Logan homered in the first, singled in the second, grounded out in the fourth, 2 for 3. First pitch swinging, lifts this one into foul territory. Lands on top of the Cloud dugout, just out of the reach of Krolikowski. On top of the Cloud. Most days at Hobart-Detter Field with the wind out of the south, that's in play. But with a little bit of a breeze coming out of the north, that helped push that one foul. This one's grounded by Sartori. It gets through into right field for his 3rd hit of the game. So, runner on first now with 1 down. Brings up Bobby Morganson. 3 trips to the plate for Bob in this game, 3 walks, 2 runs scored. Ewing with a quick toss over to first. Sartori back standing up. These right-handed pitchers who drop down certainly have a distinct advantage against a right-handed batter. But they lose that advantage to a pretty good extent to a lefty, because that lefty gets a good look at that ball coming in. Called strike 1 to Morganson. Blake Manuel now in the game for the T-Birds, playing 3rd base. Manuel, a sophomore out of Wichita. This one's in the dirt. Evens the count 1-1. Another throw to first. Sartori back safely. The sun we've talked about is no longer a factor. Lights are on here at Hobart-Detter. Called strike 2. First baseman shouldn't have to worry about anything more. Pen. Count remains 2-2. But with the threat of inclement weather for tomorrow, this was moved up to today to get ahead of that. And what that does is when you've got that day in between, if someone hasn't thrown too much, it may help your bullpen a little bit and let you bring somebody back on Saturday after you've thrown them on Thursday. But going Thursday, Friday now, it's probably going to strain these bullpens a little bit if it stays tight deep into the game. Another throw to first. Riley Metzger, freshman out of Stillwater, Oklahoma, getting loose in the Blue Dragon bullpen. Morganson cue balls this one down the left field line. That's going to fall. Sartori on his horse into third. Morganson with a double. And the Dragons have runners at second and third. Finally, Bobby's got something he can show in the scorebook besides those 3 walks. So, on base all 4 times. 3 walks and a double. It's going to bring up Wyatt Divis. 2 Dragons in scoring position. Bottom of the 6th. 1 away. Wyatt looking for his first hit of game 2. Infield is in at all locations. Cloud looking to cut these runs. This one's in the dirt. Wallace keeps it in check. Interesting strategy to bring the infield in the bottom of the 6th of a scheduled 9-inning game. A lot of baseball left. Divis chops this one just foul outside of first. Counts even at 1-1. Sartori at third. Morganson at second. Here's the pitch outside. 2-1. Two and one now. Ewing comes set. Delivers. Fouled away. Counts even at 2-2. Seven to 6 Hutchinson. Bottom of the 6th. Hutchinson won game 1, 11-1. Run rule, 5-inning game. Here's the delivery, fouled back by Divis. Wallace makes a quick trip to the mound. Divis lifts this one to left. Bondarchuk back. It's off the end of his glove. Sartori's going to score. Morganson to third. Divis into second. We're having the looks and the talk up here. And it's already an error on the board. We think the opinion up here is that was a catchable ball. So Divis will probably be the one most disappointed not to get a double. It's going to bring up Zach Baxley, the first baseman. Dragons now regain that 2-run lead, up 8-6. This one's in the dirt. So, Blue Dragons remain at second and third, but a run home on the two-base error on the left fielder Bondarchuk. This one catches the outside corner for a strike. Turn and run for it, and it just popped out of his glove. Sartori would have scored anyway on a sac fly. This one's in the dirt, 2-1. And Baxley has stepped out. He's grabbing his left wrist. So I didn't see what happened there. Trainer's going to come out and take a peek. Might be his right wrist. It looked to me like something in his right hand. Something that certainly came on quickly, and now he's going to walk back up to and step in and bat. So not sure what brought that on or what it was, but Zach Baxley now back in the batter's box. Two and one the count. Grounds this one sharply to second. They're going to come home. And they've got Morganson in a rundown now between. And they're going to get the throw to Ewing.
Because he didn't run him all the way back and allowed the hitter to go to second.
But that allowed Divis to get to third and Baxley all the way to second. So they get the out, but it didn't impact the running situation because there's still going to be Blue Dragons at second and third. So a fielder's choice that went 4-2-5-1 on the put out of Morganson.
Number 6, Zion Boland.
You've got to assume it was going to be an out anyway.
Plus he put his pitcher in a heck of a bad spot.
Big swing and a miss from Boland. Down on the count, 0-1. So, Blue Dragons at second and third. Hutchinson leading at 8-6. 2 away now in the bottom of the sixth. Zion lines it, but it's snagged by the third baseman, Manuel. That's going to end the inning, but the Dragons get one across. Leave a couple out there. And after 6, Hutchinson leads at 8-6. Catcher Cade Wallace set to lead things off for the T-Birds. Top of the 7th. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Wallace getting the workout behind the plate tonight. Doing a nice job of keeping things in front of him and under control. 2-0 now the count. Matt Hopkins on the mound for the Blue Dragons. 3-0. Riley Metzger's been warming up in the Blue Dragon bullpen. He's now standing there watching, so you've got to think he's ready to go and has told Coach Schmidt, holler when needed. Strike one. And I would imagine that Hopkins now entering his third full inning. Counts now full 3-2. That if he starts to struggle or waver at all, that Coach Schmidt won't hesitate going to the pen. Now that the Dragons are back up by 2 runs. Fouled away. And swing and a miss by Wallace. So he'd worked ahead 3-0. Great job by Hopkins to battle back. Gets the strikeout. Blake Manuel now coming to the plate for the T-Birds. Manuel was a defensive replacement in the last inning.
Third baseman, Blake Manuel.
Manuel still looking for his first hit of the season. Fouls that first one back. 0 for 3. Called strike 2. Hopkins quickly ahead. 0-2. And a swing and a miss. 2 up, 2 down swinging for the T-Birds here in the 7th. We'll bring up the first baseman, Ryan Krolikowski. Krolikowski 1 for 3. Grounded out to short his last appearance. Strike. Hopkins works ahead. Fouled back. Hopkins ahead in the count, 0-2. Shouldn't say this, but looking out there, the sun's gone away. It's cooled off a little bit. Still a gorgeous evening. And Krolikowski lines this one to left. Divis on the run, grabs it. And that's going to take care of the T-Birds here in the 7th. So, 3 up, 3 down. It's stretch time. Hutchinson leads at 8-6. third baseman Ryan Moritz leading things off for the Blue Dragons here in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch called strike. Jacob Ewing on the mound once again for the T-Birds. Fouled at the plate. Quickly 0-2. Eight to 6 Hutchinson. This one's fouled away. T-Birds have out hit the Blue Dragons 8 to 6, but the Blue Dragons have the 8 to 6 advantage where it counts the most, and that's under the runs column. Dragons have 3 errors. T-Birds 1. And swing and a miss. Moritz goes down swinging. But the statistic that's probably been the most impactful and worked against the T-Birds are the 8 bases on balls, including 4 in the first inning. Scott Wolverton at the plate now for Hutch. Scotty officially 0 for 1 today, flew out to left, walked, and reached the Blue Dragon way in his last at bat. Called strike 1. This one's chopped to the hole and through into left field. So a base hit for Scott. Going to bring up center fielder Brock Schaefer.
Center fielder Brock Schaefer.
Blue Dragons want to send their best wishes to the family of Blue Dragon baseball player Ethan White. Ethan's grandfather, Dick Strano, passed away earlier this week. Dick's been a long-time fixture in Hutchinson, owner of the Sports Shack in downtown Hutchinson for many, many years, till his retirement a few years ago. Dick's going to be missed by a lot of tremendous people and impacted a lot of lives. 0-1 the count to Schaefer. Couple of throws to first. Scott back. Cloud must know something about Scott's speed that we don't, because they've thrown over there quite a bit the last 2 times he's been on first. I'm not saying Scott isn't fast for a catcher, but he's not the biggest stolen base threat we have. Brock lifts this one high and foul into the Blue Dragon bullpen. 1-2 now the count. Action continues in the T-Bird bullpen. And a slow off-speed pitch fools Brock. Swing and a miss for the second out of the inning. And we're back to the top of the order. And Dylan Nedved.
Shortstop Dylan Nedved.
Dylan 1 for 4 in game 2. Single, a pair of ground outs and a strikeout. Wolverton at first. Fouled out to the right side. Mark your calendar for Friday, May 11th. Cary Park Golf Course, just across the street from Hobart-Detter Field, the Blue Dragon Athletic Department golf tournament to help raise funds for Blue Dragon Athletic scholarships. So you play golf for a great cause. Who can beat that? Nedved wears one in the back. So the hit by pitch puts him on first. Moves Wolverton to second. brings up Logan Sartori. Logan 3 for 4 here in game 2. Again, want to give props to the Sartoris and the Baxleys. They're feeding the team after the games tonight. Appreciate that support of Blue Dragons baseball. Ball 1 in the dirt. One and 0 the count to Logan. Wolverton. And a balk has been called. Ewing had towed the rubber and then was kind of rocking back and forth. And field umpire informed him that's a no-no. So the balk moves the runners up 90 feet. Wolverton to third, Nedved to second. Let's see if Sartori can bring home some insurance. Ewing comes set. Has Logan reaching a little bit for that one. Fouls it back and out of play. So the count's 1-1. It's days like today that make you understand why baseball's the best sport there is. Lots of sunshine, beautiful weather. No better place to be than at the ballpark. Logan lifts this one into right center. Gonzalez squeezes it. So the Dragons leave 2. But after 7 complete, Hutchinson leads Cloud 8-6. Top of the 8th inning here at Hobart-Detter Field in Cary Park, Hutchinson, Kansas. Aiden Huggins to lead things off for the T-Birds. Matt Hopkins starts him off with a strike. Ball down low. Evens the count at 1-1. A lot of history with this ballpark. A lot of people have played on this field, gone on to bigger and better things. We've got Blue Dragons who've ascended to the major leagues. We've got gentlemen who've played here in Summer League baseball that have gone on to Hall of Fame caliber careers. Called strike 3. So Huggins goes down looking.
Second baseman, Preston Aller-Helligan.
Preston Aller-Helligan. Second baseman, 2 for 3. Pair of singles. Hopkins just misses with that one down low. There was a summer in the early to mid-'80s when a pitcher by the name of Roger Clemens spent a few months here playing for the Hutchinson Bronx. Called strike, 2-1. This one misses upstairs, 3-1. Bronx brought some offensive firepower as well with guys by the name of Barry Bonds, Rafael Palmeiro, and Will Clark. Made for some very fun summer evenings. Got a number of this year's Blue Dragons who will play summer baseball for the Hutchinson Monarchs. This one's lifted by Aller-Helligan down the right field line. Foul. So we'll do it again with the full count, 1 away. Top of the 8th. Blue Dragons need 5 more outs. Ryan Moritz not Moritz, Riley Metzger and Zach Moore. I saw Zach Moore and had Moore in my head. Both of those two gentlemen are getting loose in the Blue Dragon bullpen again. Here's the 3-2, swing and a miss. So Aller-Helligan goes down swinging.
Center fielder, Ryan Simons.
Top of the order, Ryan Simons. Simons fouls this one back. Six strikeouts now for Hopkins. This one's grounded sharply past Moritz into left for a base hit. So a 2-out single for Ryan Simons. Of those 6 strikeouts, none bigger than the one in the top of the 4th when Hopkins came on with the bases loaded. Cloud had already scored 3. And he slammed the door shut with 3 straight strikes to end the threat. Ball 1 to Bondarchuk. Bondarchuk 2 for 3. Pair of singles, a walk. Last time up, tried to bunt, but popped it up to Hopkins. Called strike 1. Hopkins tosses to first. Simons back safely. Fouled at the plate. Hopkins now ahead in the count, 1-2. These two teams split a pair yesterday in Concordia. This one's fouled out of play. Cloud took game 1 yesterday 3-0 on a complete game by Eric Sobrowski. Dragons had only 2 hits. This one fisted him. He's popped it into shallow center. It's going to be a tough play. Bolin dives for it, can't get it. Simons is going to move it all the way around to third. So a pop single for Bondarchuk is going to put T-Birds at the corners with 2 outs. All of the damage done by the T-Birds today has happened with 2 outs. 6 runs in this game, 1 run in game 1. Brings up Enrique Gonzalez, the right fielder. Hitless in game 2. It's going to prompt a visit from Coach Schmidt. Gets the attention of Zach Moore and Riley Metzger. They've got their eyes on him, waiting to see if there's a call. Coach is going to talk strategy. Runners at first and third for Cloud, 2 away. We're in the top of the 8th. Hutchinson leading at 8-6. Umpire's going to make his way out.
I think he's asking Baxley what they're going to feed him.
Conference breaks up. No call to the pen is made. So Coach Schmidt sticking with Hopkins as he faces Gonzalez. Dragons have been out hit 10-7, but they've outscored Cloud 8-6. First pitch, Gonzalez is going to line this one into right. That's going to bring home a run. So the lead has now been cut to 1 at 8-7. Bondarchuk makes his way to third. So we're in the same situation now with runners at first and third, but now just a 1-run lead for Hutch. And we're going to get a pinch runner. I think it was number 3. I couldn't get a good read on it.
Now running for the T-Birds at first base, Brett Fields.
So Eric Sobrowski, the designated hitter,
Number 23, Eric.
now at the plate. The tying run just 90 feet away for Cloud. Tried to check his swing. Apparently he did. 1-0. Thought the Dragons might ask for an appeal there, but no call made. High and tight. 2-0 now the count. Got Sobrowski's attention with that one. This one's low, 3-0. Catcher Cade Wallace on deck. Here's the 3-0. Strike on the outside corner. Dragons took game 1 today, 11-1. Leading game 2, 8-7, but Cloud is threatening here in the 8th. Runners at first and third. 1 run already in. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. They're going to be loaded. And it looks like we're going to have a call to the pen. Coach Schmidt on his way out. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with details on the new pitcher right after this. Zach Moore now on the mound for the Blue Dragons. 6-foot sophomore from Edmond, Oklahoma. Facing Cade Wallace. Wallace, first pitch swinging, fouls that one away. Moore comes in, inherits the bases full of T-Birds. Off-speed pitch outside. Tying run just 90 feet away. Grounded sharply to short. Nedved scoops it. Flips to Bolin for the force out. Zach Moore does his job. The Dragons maintain the lead, but it's one run smaller than it was. Now 8-7 Hutchinson as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Three, 4, and 5 hole hitters coming up for Hutch here in the bottom of the 8th. Bobby Morganson, the right fielder, to lead things off. Morganson, Divison, Baxley. Count even now, 1-1. Bobby doubled in his last appearance. Prior to that, had walked 3 times in this game. Takes that one inside, now 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Morganson has never left the box. I think he was making the point that it was fouled off his foot. And that's what Coach Schmidt is discussing with the home plate umpire right now. But it was fielded. They touched first. It was recorded as an out. I think what Coach Schmidt's asking the home plate umpire to do is at least get some help and see if the field umpire saw it differently. It's up to the home plate umpire to do that, and he's chosen not to. So it's going to go down as a putout. So one away now here in the bottom of the 8th. And I was trying to figure out why Bobby hadn't left the box. and didn't see if that was fielded by the pitcher or the first baseman, so I don't know who to give credit on the put-out to. We'll go back and watch that later and figure it out. 1-0 the count now to Wyatt Divis. Swing and a miss. Okay, got some clarification up here. It was fielded by the pitcher. He flipped it to the first baseman. So it was a 1-3 put out on Morganson's grounder. 1-2 now the count to Divis. Baxley on deck. Here's the 1-2. Chopper by Divis over the mound. Huggins fields. Fires. He's off the bag. It's going to be an error on the shortstop, Huggins, for a wide throw. Now we're going to have a discussion from Cloud coach Eric Gilliland, and he's asking the field umpire to get a second opinion. He thought they got the tag. So let's see how this plays out. Umpires get together about halfway down the line. And safe. The call stands. So an error on the shortstop. Divis on first now with one away.
First baseman, Zach Baxley.
Zach Baxley now, the first baseman. Swing and a miss. There are off-speed pitches and there are off-speed pitches, and that's a way off-speed pitch. Yeah, Coach Knack calls that a changeup of his changeup. But it's effective because Baxley spun himself into the ground on that one. Fastball. Called strike 0-2. Divis at first, one away, bottom of the eighth. Hutchinson leading at 8-7. Blue Dragons took game one 11-1. This one's in the dirt. Divis takes off for second, and he's going to reach safely. So the wild pitch. I don't think Wallace thought that Divis was going to take off on that because he took a little bit extra time to get that one picked up, and Wyatt was off immediately.
Blue Dragons do a great job of reading balls in the dirt.
And part of that might have been on Wallace's co-defenders out here that no one may have hollered at him that the runner was taking off. That move right there kept the Dragons out of a potential double play as Baxley grounds out to the shortstop for the second out of the inning. But Divis remains at second, brings up Zion Bolin. Bolin hit a line drive, but right at Blake Manuel at third in his last at bat. Wyatt Divis at second, two down. Bottom of the eighth, 8-7 Hutchinson lead. Again, that slow changeup, and Bolin fouls it off the end of the bat. Train traveling through downtown Hutchinson. You can hear it in the distance. Beautiful, clear evening. This one's outside. Counts even, 1-1. Fastball in the dirt. 2-1 the count. Blue Dragon softball completes the sweep. wraps up their 10-game road trip with a 9-3 victory over Garden City in Game 2. And this one hits Bolin in the back. So that'll put Dragons at first and second and bring up the third baseman, Ryan Moritz. Moritz struck out swinging last time up. It's going to bring a visit to the mound as well. At this point, we're just talking strategy. Well, the visit wraps up. Ewing still on the mound. Ryan Moritz at the plate. Wyatt Divis at second. Zion Bolin at first. 2 away. Bottom of the 8th. Hutchinson leading at 8-7. Here's the pitch from Ewing. Down low. 1-0. Scott Wolverton in the on-deck circle. Wolverton singled in his last at bat. Here's the 1-0. Low and inside, 2-0. Two-0 pitch. Moritz grounds this one to second. High toss, and he got his foot back down. So a nice play by Krolikowski to save that one. So the Dragons leave 2.
No runs in the bottom of the
After 8 complete, we head to the 9th
Cloud 7.
with Hutchinson leading at 8-7. Well, it's the top of the 9th. Dylan Nedved moves from shortstop to the pitcher's mound for Hutchinson.
25,
Dario DeSantis, who caught game 1, now comes in to pitch hit. for Cloud. Hutchinson leading at 8-7. Nedved moving from short to the pitcher's mound to try to close this out. Ryan Moritz moving from third to short. Zion Bolin moving from second to third. And Logan Sartori moves to second from the designated hitter spot. DeSantis lifted that one into right center. And nicely done by Bobby Morganson to run that one down for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up the first baseman, Ryan Krolikowski. Made a nice reaching snag in the last inning to save a run for Cloud on a flip to first. First pitch called strike. Swing and a miss. Strike two. Nedved ahead in the count, 0-2. Just misses. Count now 1-2. 7 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors by the T-Birds. Fouled away. Might have fouled that one off his foot. Kind of took a seat after that. Going to walk it off. 8 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors by the Blue Dragons. Not the cleanest game defensively by either team. Hutchinson holding on to a 1-run lead. Top of the 9th. Dragons took game 1, 11-1. Fouled again. Trying to take 3 out of 4 in the series. Here's the 1-2 delivery. This is lifted to right. Morganson moving to the line. And makes the catch. So two batters here on the top of the 9th. 2 flyouts to Bobby Morganson. Brings up the shortstop, Aiden Huggins.
Number 11, Aiden Huggins.
Huggins, 2 for 4 with a double triple. Struck out looking last inning. Blue Dragons 1 out away from taking 3 out of 4. Called strike 1. Swing, foul tip. Nedved ahead in the count, 0-2. That one got a piece of Scott Wolverton. Umpire walks the ball out to Nedved, cleans the plate, gives Scotty a chance to collect himself. T-Birds down to their last strike. Here's the 0-2, just off. Huggins thought about it. Counts now 1-2. And grounded sharply up the middle. T-Bird's still alive. This one's misplayed by Schaefer, and that's going to allow Huggins to get into second. So a single and the 4th Blue Dragon error have put a T-Bird in scoring position here in the 9th. That's going to bring up the second baseman, Preston Aller-Helligan. Aller-Helligan singled in his first 2 appearances. And we're going to have a conference on the mound. Coach Schmidt trots out.
Definitely don't want to put him on the 9-hole. Go after him and get him out.
Aller-Helligan 2 for 4. Blue Dragons talking strategy.
Pound the strike zone. That's the strategy.
This is Nedved's 5th appearance on the season. 5 innings pitch. He's given up 2 runs, but neither of them earned. Trying to close this one out for Hutchinson. Dragons up 8-7. Tying run at second for Cloud. Just misses. 1-0. Good looking pitch there by Nedved. Wolverton and Nedved having a quick meeting. Don't know if that last one crossed up Scotty a little bit. As Blue Dragons softball makes their way home from Garden City, they'll be back in action Tuesday at Fun Valley. It's fouled at the plate. Counts even at 1-1. Baseball will get a few days off. Be back in action on Wednesday right here at Hobart-Detter Field. 3 o'clock first pitch against North Iowa Area Community College. The 1-1. Down low, 2-1. Huggins at second. Aller Helligan at the plate. Nedved gets the sign and delivers. This is grounded sharply to third and right through the legs of Bolin. Here comes the tying run. So the error number 5. 2 errors this inning, very costly. And the game is now tied at 8. Nedved's done his job. And we're back to the top of the order. Center fielder Ryan Simons. Check swing. He's going to roll a slow tapper. Nedved fields it. Throws to first for the out. But Cloud gets the tying run. And we are knotted at 8 as we head to the bottom of the 9th. So pinch hitter
Hitting
Garrett Stevens
bottom of the ninth inning.
to lead off the bottom of the ninth for the Blue Dragons.
Garrett Stevens.
Dragons were 1 out away from finishing this one off, but a 2-out single by Cloud, an error. As Brock Schaefer fielded it, allowed the tying run to move into second. And then an error at third, allowed that run to score to tie it up. Off-speed pitch, called strike. Jacob Ewing back on the mound for the T-Birds. Action in the T-Bird bullpen. Things are quiet in the Blue Dragon pen. But Riley Metzger's been up working off and on, so I would think he's probably ready if called upon. Two and one the count to Stevens. Grounded sharply to short. Huggins gets it across. One away here in the bottom of the ninth. Brock Schaefer, the center fielder.
Number 24, Brock Schaefer.
Brock's 0 for 4. Let's say he's due for a hit this game. Ewing lines and delivers. Big swing by Brock, fouls it back. There's a grounder from Schaefer. Krolikowski fields it, flips it to Ewing, and there's two away.
Thank you.
Now, Dylan Nedved, now the pitcher.
Dylan Nedved.
Top of the order for Hutch. Two away, bottom of the ninth. Ball inside. Still a great crowd here at the ballpark this evening. Big swing and a miss by Dylan. Counts even at 1-1. Dylan lines this to center, but Simons grabs it. So, 3 up, 3 down for Hutchinson there in the ninth. It's time for some free baseball. We're going to go to the 10th inning as soon as we're back here at Hobart-Detter Field.
Banderchuk.
Matt Bondarchuk. to lead off the 10th for the T-Birds. Ball misses outside. Garrett Stevens now behind the plate for Hutchinson. He pinch hit for Scott Wolverton in the bottom of the 9th. We're knotted at 8 here at Hobart-Detter Field. We should have known when Game 1 was a run rule that Game 2 was going to go extra. Swing and a miss. 2-1 the count. Count even now, 2-2. Two, 3, and 4 hitters for the T-Birds here on the 10th. This one's outside, full count. And Bondarchuk goes down swinging to lead off the top of the 10th. And that's going to bring up a pinch hitter. Number 15, Trey McDaniel, sophomore from Junction City.
Pinch hitting for the T-Birds, number 15, Trey McDaniel.
So Enrique Gonzalez's day is done.
Unusual pinch hit for your 3-hole.
McDaniel, first pitch swinging, grounds this one sharply to short. Moritz fires it across the back sleeve for the out. Don't often see a pinch hitter for the 3-hole. Brings up designated hitter Eric Zabrowski.
Number 23, Eric Zabrowski.
So 2 away now in the top of the 10th. Score tied 8-8. Ball 1 away. This one's upstairs, 2-0. Ball 3. Nedved a pretty deliberate pace right now. Zabrowski ahead in the count, 3-0. Called strike 1. Here's the 3-1. Off the fist. Rolled slowly to short. Moritz across. The T-Birds go in order in the top of the 10th. Let's see if the Dragons can make something happen in the bottom. We're tied 8-8. Bottom of the 10th. Extra innings here at Hobart-Detter Field. Blue Dragons and Thunderbirds tied 8-8. Logan Sartori to lead things off for Hutchinson. Lines this one sharply to center, and Simon slips and falls. This is going to go to the fence. Here's Sartori, rounding second. And a stand-up first pitch triple for Logan Sartori to start the bottom of the 10th. That was a sinking liner. Simons, I think, thought he might have a play at it, and may well have. It's really hard to see from up here at this hour. But as soon as he lost his footing and went down, Sartori kicked it into overdrive and easily made it to third. Now Morganson at the plate, the infield in. First pitch, ball one. Interesting strategy perspective from my friend Coach Knack up here in the press box. He says, is this a situation where you walk the bases loaded to set up a force everywhere? Called strike one.
3 and 4 hitters coming up.
Walk Morganson, the 3-hole. Mark walk Divis, the 4-hole. Not the approach Cloud has chosen at the moment. Now they're going to talk. Cloud talking strategy on the mound. Conference breaks up. So the infielders back to their positions. 1-1 the count to Morganson. Wallace gets settled behind the plate. Ewing comes set. Sartori down the line. Outside, 2-1. Now they're going to walk Morganson. They've got to pitch to him at this level. They don't just send. That's only in the major leagues. So Bobby's coming back. You've got to throw all 4 pitches in college. So let's see if that's still the approach. It is. Wallace extends his arm. 3-1 now the count. I believe it was earlier this season against Independence when they nearly threw it to the backstop on an intentional walk. Catcher had to work extra hard. So that'll bring up Divis. Let's see if they take the same approach.
Number 15, Wyatt Divis.
First and third now. Morganson at first. Sartori at third. And they're going to, nope, now they're going to walk Divis. So we're going to have no outs. Bottom of the 10th. Morganson takes off early, maybe trying to bait a throw down. There's ball 4 to Divis. No stolen base. Defensive indifference on Morganson taking second. So now, bases loaded, nobody out. Bottom of the 10th, Zach Baxley at the plate. Something's got to give one way or the other. Tied at 8. Ewing delivers. Inside, ball 1. You've got to wonder how much it affects a pitcher when you've just been told to throw 8 intentional balls, and now you've got to dial it back in with no margin for error. And we're going to see a defensive change in the outfield. So speculation would be that maybe improving the arm strength in left field.
He came in the game. He pinch hit. 15 that went out to left field. He pinch hit at the top of the inning.
Not so sure that wasn't our pitch hitter from the top of the inning who was not in position defensively. Baxley, big swing, fouls this one back.
I don't know what the rule is on that.
1-1 the count. Pitch in the dirt, gets away. Didn't have a lot on it, but it did catch the foot of the umpire. I don't think it would have gotten far enough away anyway. So now 2-1 to Baxley. Logan Sartori 90 feet away. He's the only one that matters as far as these base runners go. There's a sharp grounder to short. It's booted. It's booted. The Dragons win it. Zach Baxley with the walk-off grounder. The error by the shortstop, Aiden Huggins, allows the winning run to score. And the Dragons take the sweep.
That scored an error, don't we? I think it was a hit or an error. I thought it was an error.
9-8 Hutchinson in 10. Great game by both teams.
Put it up there because we got to get the line right.
Got the lead. Dragons had an early lead. Cloud battled back, took the lead themselves. Dragons came back to take it back 8-6. Cloud battled, tied it in the 9th. But in the 10th, the Dragons get a leadoff triple from Logan Sartori.
Blue Dragons
Intentional walks to Morganson and Divis.
here in Hutchinson on Tuesday, March.
And after the intentional walks loaded the bases, Zach Baxley hit a sharp grounder to short. And with the infield drawn in, it was too much for Huggins to handle.
Area Community College
And that allowed Sartori to score.
Wednesday.
So your final score, 9-8. Hutchinson over Cloud. Dragons take 3 out of 4 in this series.
Dragon track is in action.
And take a few days off now before they host North Iowa Area Community College on Wednesday afternoon, 3 o'clock, right here at Hobart-Detter Field. Cloud finishes the game with 8 runs, 11 hits, committed 3 errors. The last one the most costly.
Thank you for coming to
Dragons,
Community College
9 runs.
at
And they've already cleared the scoreboard, so I can't give you the hit total, but the Dragons had 5 errors, so far from a clean game by either team. Again, your final. Hutchinson takes game 1 11-1, and game 2 9-8. Dragons sweep it. Thanks for tuning in to the Blue Dragon Sports Network. We'll talk to you Tuesday at softball, Wednesday at baseball. Good night, everyone.